This historic piece of seating is what someone may come by and say, oh, that's an interesting old sofa, or what a great settee, or look, there's a chase, or there's the fainting couch. And so there's all these different varieties of seating that we kind of term. And this specifically is what would be referred to as a fainting couch, a divan, if you will, slight difference. What's unique about this piece is what we would refer to today as Eastlake style, which is iconized by this incision work. A couple of interesting uses of alternative woods. So we have a walnut structure. The highlights are bird's eye maple, which was also a common decorative element of the time. You won't ever see a piece made out of solid bird's eye maple, but you will see lots of drawers, you will see lots of highlights, lots of trim that is in bird's eye maple in European and then influencing American manufactured furniture like this piece here. Also, you'll see these little target forms, which were very popular in the Victorian era. Why? Why are these design elements here? What do they mean? So what we have here is points. And in between those points are very straight and structured lines. And we have this furniture with this newer, more thicker, maybe a little bit more comfortable and usable upholstery. And a lot of that was actually influenced by travel, train travel. The upholstery inside the train to protect the passenger. We start utilizing this form of transforming ourselves as species through time in a more rapid pace, and we get the influences of maps, point A's to points B's, more direct, less flowy, less roundabout, less romantic, less surreal, more to the point, more industrial, more getting things done. This specifically also has some other design elements that we might stretch or look into to try to figure out maybe where this piece would have been placed in a home. Our first thought is maybe bedroom. It's for laying down. Clearly, anyone can tell you that it doesn't take furniture history to tell us that this is what this design is for. But when we start looking closer at the design elements, what do we have here? More straight lines, maybe mimicking a drum. Maybe the horn of a phonograph. Sound, time, space. So what we're actually seeing here is this transition of potentially another parlor piece. This piece may not have been intended necessarily for sleeping on, but maybe lounging, maybe to listen to music. And say the common man at the time didn't have an extra spare bedroom for traveling guests. This piece could have been put away in a singular parlor. And what makes it extremely unique is that it is one of the first transformable beds. So what we have here in the back, which we'll show you later, is a large metal crank. And I'm just going to show you guys actually how this works. So we've loosened the crank. We're going to be pulling out this portion of seating. And what we're going to uncover is another small mattress. Watch the Victorian curtains. So after the clearance is made, we have this nice, sturdy, almost what feels like indestructible metal lever that looks more like a part of a train than it actually does a piece of furniture. And it elevates another resting level. You'd be able to put additional padding mattress on this, and then maybe your guest, if you had more that overflowed into another room, would be able to utilize this piece of furniture for more than just one use. So what we have here, pretty common form of what we would call a parlor table. And how do we know this is a parlor table is because of its design and construction. We have this pretty emblematic top here, which is not uncommon. Very familiar proportions. Common wood, which was utilized in the time, in this case a book-matched mahogany veneer. And it's over this rather attractive base with a fairly decently turned standard with some graduating lobes, some design highlights that kind of helps accentuate the negative space of the piece. And then it's elevated on 4 machined sprawling legs. What makes this specific parlor table unique and why we're able to identify what it is because of its articulating and transforming design. And so underneath the top is a simple push button format that then folds up on some very sturdy brass hinges, and we have a mirror here. So what this becomes essentially is a vanity. And how do we know that this was for a parlor room? In order to understand this piece of furniture, we have to understand society at the time. So when you would enter a home, you would be greeted probably by 2 parlors, one to the east and one to the west. The only separating factor of their design elements was that one room was designed for a man and the other room was designed for ladies. So what we have here is a parlor table. We have this mirror. It's acting as vanity, kind of in secrecy, so it can just discreetly display normally as a table. And we have this little flip up top here, compartment for maybe some of the ladies' makeup items, powders, brushes, lipsticks, cigarette papers, anything that the woman of the late 19th century in the parlor may be utilizing while they're having conversations, maybe playing a game of bridge and listening to some piano.